Hi, this is Peter Wagner, and I'm here at my home in Colorado Springs, where we live on 8 acres of ponderosa pines, as you can see. And actually, right in the background, there's our log cabin that was built by the pioneers in 1892. And now we've got it fixed up to sleep 6, so it makes a nice guest room as well. Anyhow, Bishop, I want to congratulate you for your 80th birthday. I remember when I was 80. It was a little while ago, and now you're entering that club. And I'm just delighted. I'm delighted that God has had His hand on you for these years of ministry. And speaking of ministry, I want to celebrate you, Bishop, and you, Evelyn, for 60 years of Christian ministry, and you have made an incredible impact here in this nation and around the world. Wherever I go, I don't have to explain who Bill Hamon is whenever your name comes up, which is very frequently in my talks around the world, because you have had such an influence on me. I could tell stories that would probably take up all the evening that we have together, but I'll just start with this one. You know, most of you would know that I made a transition from being a straight line evangelical to a charismatic, and I'm not the only one. Several of us have exchanged notes, and the hardest part of that paradigm shift is prophecy. I mean, we can believe in a lot of other things, healing and supernatural and miracles and tongues, but when it comes to prophecy, that's really difficult to us, because we were taught, and we taught others, that everything God wanted to say, He already said in the Bible, and He didn't have anything more to say. And now I'm moving in a different direction by the Holy Spirit and trying to come to grips with prophecy. And I think this must have been a period of probably a couple of years. I wanted to believe in prophecy, but I really couldn't, because I couldn't figure out the nuts and bolts of how prophecy works. And then I got a hold of this book, Prophets and Personal Prophecy by Dr. Bill Hamon. And that book was a life changer for me. I've still got paper clips and markings and tabs all the way through this, because by the time I finished reading this book, I believed in prophecy. And I wanted to participate in that. And Bishop, you were the one that God used to turn me around that corner. So I want to thank you very much for that. And of course, you have other extremely influential books, some of the most solid books on the history of the church, looking at it from the spiritual point of view. And you have done a great job with that. And I could tell stories of how your prophecies have influenced me. I'll just tell one more. I remember the first time I met you. It was in Phoenix. I was there with Hal Sachs once, and he said, Bill Hamon is in town. And I said, oh, wonderful. And I thought that was all he was going to say, but because it was good news to me, because I had read your book, but I'd never had a chance to meet you personally. In fact, I never thought I would meet you personally. And he said, Bill Hamon's in town, and he wants to prophesy over you. I said, what? I could hardly believe what he was saying. I said, okay. So I remember we went to that hotel, and Evelyn, you were there too, and Bishop had a tape recorder. That's when we had these big tape recorders. And he started prophesying, and it was hot. It was Phoenix, Arizona. He started sweating and prophesying, and I was listening to this, and later I transcribed it. But in that prophecy, that was the first time that the Lord began to tell me I was going to move from California to Colorado. And so thank you. Thank you for that word, and thank you for all the influence and fellowship and relationship that we have had through the years. And I'm looking for many more years to come. God bless.